This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.
And welcome back. Oh, sorry about that. Only old timers at ESPN will remember that. Very pleasant good morning. 10:08 on the East Coast. 7:08 in the morning, and lovely lost wages. And it's time for Money Info with Mike King in Las Vegas. I don't think Charles is with us today, but Michael, how are you?
I am.
Oh, Charles
Yeah,
is with us.
Absolutely.
Okay. How you doing?
I'm like the post office, neither rain nor sleet.
Okay. Well, it's I know you're in your Speedo getting a lot of swimming done outside, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't do that inside.
Yeah. So, how bad is the weather up there?
It's not terrible. I mean, it's over the weekend I went to take the dog out in just a shirt, and it was nice and balmy. And then on Sunday, it went from 62 in the morning to 24 at night.
Oh, boy, I remember that.
And it really hasn't helped much, hasn't increased much since then. But it's nice and sunny and everything, and, I'm inside.
Yeah.
The heck do I care?
Well, so what about
the
the market? It's going absolutely berserk, over 26.
A new record.
Yeah.
A new record. Dow 25,000 to Dow 26,000, 12 days.
Wow. That's amazing.
It's not it's not as overwhelming as it sounds. But it is pretty impressive. I mean, it's 1,000 points at 25,000 is only 4%. And so, but it is pretty dramatic to see it. And we just sold out of the second half of our position in the Apple calls that expire on Friday. And we were in them at $1.55. We sold the first half at $3.20 on 100% up rule this morning at the open, and then the balance of them at $4.27. So the options only account is currently up 16.5%, $1,649 on a $10,000 account.
Wow.
And last year it made 200%.
Yeah,
Over
last year it
200.
made 217%, and I wasn't expecting that to happen again this year, but it certainly is off to a good start.
Well, until you make 300%, I'm going to sit on the sidelines.
Okay. Yeah, you're like a buddy of mine who, when I say, did you use the 50% down rule to sell that position, he tells me, no, I don't use stops, and, I usually don't sell them until they're down 90%.
Yeah, yes. and then wish you had done that
Right,
five years earlier. Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh man.
But even the big account, which is a $100,000 account, is up around, let's see, 49 and 12, up around 6%. And,
wow.
That's a little bit, it's certainly less of a percentage gain, but in terms of dollars, it's twice as much. So, and we have a lot of positions in there that are protected by stops just under them, where we would be ringing the register with a profit.
Well, it's certainly better than what you can get at Shawmut Bank, right?
Oh yeah. Yes,
There you go.
That it is.
There you go.
And we've just been really strong. The thing that is not strong is Bitcoin.
Oh, come on. That's a bunch of garbage anyway.
You're preaching to the choir there, pal. But the fact of the matter is, it is very popular. Of course, there are people who are in them from minuscule prices from 2 and 3 years ago, but it still has to hurt when something goes down 40%. I mean, these things were 20,000 not long ago, and right now on the Chicago Board of Trade futures market for this month, for February, so for this coming month, they're 12,120, and they're down 1,900 today.
Wait a minute. You mean Chicago Trade is actually trading that stuff?
Yeah, they started a couple of weeks ago.
God, really?
And that was kind of trumpeted as the one of the major steps to be mainstream is to have it traded. So the Chicago Board of Trade has a contract that's for 1 Bitcoin, and the CME has a contract that's 5 Bitcoins, and they sell roughly around the same price. But there are a lot of people who are trading them because frankly, it's easier and less expensive than trading them in the real world market. And of course, you only have to put up about 40%. But 40% is still a chunk, and they're down 40% in the last 3 weeks. So that's a wipeout. The other thing that's getting a lot of attention this morning is GE, which everybody was trumpeting as the bottom is in, and in the meantime, they had to take a $6.2 billion charge for reinsurance. And they also came out this morning and said that GE, the financial side of GE, is not going to be paying dividends to the parent company. And, the stock is about $18.12, down 65 cents, or 3.5%. So that's pretty dramatic.
So what do they fear that they would have to invest that much in reinsurance?
Well, that's the problem, that clearly they didn't do that. I guess Berkshire Hathaway is the biggest in the reinsurance business. And so...
Gee, why should I be surprised that he would be involved in that? Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah. So that's where we are.
Wow.
The S&P is up 18.5 at 2804, so it moved from 27 to 2,800 in the same time that the Dow did. The Dow is 26,060, up $258 right now. And the NASDAQ is, kind of the laggard, only up 0.9%. And, of course, the transports, which everybody kind of boo-hoos that, if you're a Dow theorist, and the transports aren't confirming what the utilities are, everybody's concerned about it. And, in fact, every single time for the last 2.5 years, when that has occurred, the transports have caught up, and fast.
Wow. Yeah. And did I hear Gary's voice in the background?
Yeah, fellas,
hey.
I joined late, and I was also watching GE. And let me ask this question to both of you, and Mike, too, if he's on the line.
Sure.
At what point is GE a buy? Does somebody step in and buy a few shares now at $18?
Well, frankly, I can't stand Jim Cramer, but the one thing that he says, I turn the sound off when he comes on. The one thing that he says that I absolutely agree with is that you don't necessarily have to go in and buy your whole position. In fact, that's kind of a bit egocentric to think that, you're the one who's going to pick the bottom. And so I think you go into it now with dollar cost averaging on your mind. If it were me and I wanted to own 1,000 GE, I would buy 250 today, and if it went down 5%, I'd buy another 250. If it went up 5%, I'd buy another 250. And so, that's kind of dollar cost averaging, except, that it's a new position, and that's the way I would take it. Very conservative, coming from somebody who trades futures and options, you don't expect to hear, that kind of conservative thought, but that's definitely the way I would buy it here.
I mean, who would have thought?
Here's the thing: you just don't know when they're finally going to get out of the woods. The best, one of the best examples that I would consider is the banks. When the banks were, everybody and their brother was saying, "Oh, well, you have to buy J.P. Morgan, or you have to buy Bank of America or Goldman Sachs because it's selling at a discount to its tangible book value, and and it should be 1.5 to 2 times that book value." Well, the fact of the matter is there are things that are unknowable. There were things that were unknowable in the banks because the government was using them as an ATM. Every single day you heard another announcement of another bank with a multi-billion-dollar charge. Well, if you're in that position and somebody can come along and take, some number of billions of dollars, then your tangible book value is not really what it looks like, because there are those unknowable things. The GE got down and has rallied about 8 or 10% off the bottom, and everybody felt really comfortable with it, except that today it's down 4% or 3.5%, because another one of those unknowable issues reared its ugly head. And so, it's the only way that I can think of to do it is to do it in terms of money. If I want to own, like I said, if I want to own 1,000, I buy 200 every 5% up or down, starting here.
Okay.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, guys, isn't it truly amazing that GE, it was way over 100, right, for years, decades. And you couldn't even touch the stock. And it's like,
well, they did some really stupid things.
Oh yeah,
To begin with, they got involved in the oil business, at $105 a barrel. So it's basically up 40% to half of where they went in, and that's they bought Baker Hughes, which is a oil service company. They got out of GE Capital. They sold that off at the bottom of the banking industry. So, plus, the last thing that I'll say about it is it's a conglomerate. And conglomerates traditionally are not given the same kind of PEs that companies that have a single, or not even a single, maybe just a couple of small lines that they operate. GE is, an amalgamation of finance. I don't even know if they make light bulbs anymore. Plus, GE Capital, which, is gone. I mean, the company is really, hard to get your mind around vis-a-vis what they actually do, and so how they should be valued. I mean, GE Aerospace is a dramatically large defense contractor, but, defense contract, look at what's going on with Boeing. Boeing is a defense contractor, besides making, passenger jets, as is, United Technologies and all of those stocks that are singular focus get the focus, get the the PE of their industry. Well, when you're in 4 different industries, it's hard to decide which one is the real value. So, that's another problem.
That's an interesting thought. I just never thought of that. But yeah, they're into so much stuff that it just all kind of gets in the way of everything else. And
I mean, the last 2 conglomerates that worked out were Gulf and Western, Charlie Bluedorn, and the other one, I'm trying to remember what it actually is. Well, you get the general picture. Oh, Litton Industries. And Litton Industries sold off, pieces to become more of a defense contractor.
Right.
The same way as Boeing has, the same way as UTX has. I mean, these are companies with focus. And I think that that's really one of the big issues.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing to see how things have changed. And, of course, the story, it makes no difference what television station you're watching. Wells Fargo closing 800 branches, B of A doing likewise.
Right.
You've got, it seems like all the biggies are closing a lot of their brick and mortar because of the young folks who are doing their banking on their cell phones.
Yeah, and also with non-traditional banks, like the TV ads for DCU, Digital Credit Union, or any of these other things where they pay you a little more on your deposits because they don't support a branch system.
Yeah, Ally
and,
is one of those
it's like
too,
the same
right?
thing. It's like the same thing as where we're looking now at retail. Retail is without question closing a lot of its outlets. I mean, even Walmart, who has really very successfully gone into the grocery business, they're closing 68 of their Sam's Club. Last year, Sears, Kmart, a combination of 2 of the worst retailers.
I was going to say.
A very ugly one.
That's like the Titanic and the Andrea Doria in the same sentence.
Yeah, right. And so, they closed over 100 stores. They're closing 63 more stores, most of them Kmart locations, this coming year. You look at Sears and you say, well, based on this business model, we'll be profitable just as soon as we close all of our brick-and-mortar stores.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, the landscape has changed so much. And there was an article, I think it was either CNBC or Fox Business that I was looking at, that the very quiet closings of some of the lesser stores are leaving huge holes. And they quoted somebody at Simon, Taubman, the big mall owners.
Yes, Simon Properties.
Sure.
Mace Rich, yeah.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you something. Gary, how many, if you go to the center of your town, how many drugstores are there within a 6-block area?
There are 2. There are CVS, 2 of those, and 1 Walgreens. All of the others fall.
And if you drive 5 more minutes in any direction, how many more are there?
There are, to my knowledge, there may be one independent left, but the rest are CVS or Walgreens.
Right. Okay. So what's the population of your town?
62,000 people.
Okay, that at least is reasonable. In Hanover, Massachusetts, there are 2 CVS's, 2 Walgreens, and 2 Rite Aids within 5 minutes of each other. The population is about 9,800. Do you really need 4 CVS's or 4 Walgreens.
Okay, but what's the demographic of your town?
What's the difference?
Well, the boomers.
It doesn't even matter. I mean, you look at the same thing. I'm saying this because I believe that they cannibalize their own sales. But, it's almost absurd that people are so, it's so convenience-oriented that it can't possibly hold up. I mean, it's like movie theaters. You take one movie theater and you make it into a 4-screen multiplex, and, that supports your local community. I mean, we're talking about a town of under 10,000 with 8 drugstores?
Well,
I mean, it's just...
Yeah, you touch on an interesting thought, too. Movie theaters. Now, how you look at a business that's changed, it's, my goodness, it's like the little independent theaters like we used to have in L.A.
No, they don't exist.
They don't exist anymore, right? Yeah, they're backdrop for television commercials is what they are. Yes. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
I mean, there are the little independent ones who show nothing but documentaries and, independent films. But, for the most part, a lot of the big people like AMC are actually investing in producing content.
Wow.
So,
okay.
I mean, yeah, it's dramatically changed.
That is strange. Okay. God, why would you want to do that? Okay.
I mean,
Wow.
you look at the grocery side of it, and the grocery side of it is pretty much the same, except that your specialty grocers like Whole Foods used to be. They would attract. I think that the number that they were talking about, and I'm going to say it's 5 years ago, the number that they were talking about how far someone would drive to go to a Whole Foods as opposed to how close you had to be to a Publix or a Shaw's or a Stop and Shop was dramatic. But, even those are opening smaller versions of themselves and fairly close by.
And how about, did you see that story? I think it was over the weekend. Circuit City is coming back.
Wow.
With boutique small stores that are going to be the size of like Circle K's.
Yeah.
And they will be specialized. And I'm thinking, wow. That's, because that was a major bankruptcy in the electronics side.
And that business model, smaller stores in the malls, worked so well for Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Another company that's gone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, not everybody. I would rather drive 5 minutes to my local store or 10 minutes to my local store rather than driving 15 minutes to Best Buy, where it's difficult to find somebody to wait on you, and and you don't save that much more. I mean, if it's economical, I could see that easily working.
Yeah, and you look at, because especially when you compare, let's say a big screen TV, Best Buy is maybe $30, $40 more per screen than Walmart.
Right.
Now, what's very interesting, our little webcam in the studio died for our Skype, and so when I was looking around, I happened to look at the signs that are on these televisions now in Walmart that says internet purchase only, pick up in store,
right.
48 hours later, which I think, okay, this is really interesting. So they're cutting down on the number of things that they have to store in the stores, and then just
Right.
bringing them in from the distribution centers wherever they happen to be. We happen to have a huge one right here in Port St. Lucie, which handles all of South Florida. So, I mean, the delivery time in this area is 24 hours.
Right.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it's
was-
amazing. I
Charles,
mean, it
on
really
another
is.
topic-
Retail. This is why retail. It's if one is good, two is better. You know,
yeah.
not really the case.
Yeah. Gary, you want to change
Yeah,
topics
as
here?
you all were speaking, I just got a text from someone who follows and is an investor, unfortunately, it appears, in Bitcoins, and they have just literally dropped. I mean, boom, hit hard this morning. And I'm kind of chuckling because the one thing I learned at 60 is not to listen to a 25-year-old. So, young fellow told me not long ago, he said, Gary, you've got to get in on this. And it was one of the Bitcoins trading for $2.35. And he had every scientific, mathematical reason why I should pick up as much as I possibly can at $2.37. That was only two and a half days, 3 days ago. Well, this morning it's trading for $1.38, and he just also sent me a text to say, "Gee, I hope you didn't buy any." Well, one of the things I learned between 25 and 60 is don't listen to a 25-year-old. So I responded back by saying, "No, I did not buy any." Right?
So who's part
they're
of
dropping? They're crashing as we speak.
So Gary, who's part of the management team that was handling his Bitcoin operation?
Coinbase.
Coinbase. What the hell is that? Come on. It's
One of the bigger. It's one of the bigger exchanges.
It's as reputable as one could be in this exchange. I suppose.
yes.
And I tell you, there's a lot to be said about a Stanford grad mathematician arguing why I should buy $5,000, maybe $10,000 worth of this $2.38 Bitcoin, and I'm sure glad I didn't listen to him. And I bet you there's a lot of other people that are glad they didn't get involved in the larger one that was the traditional Bitcoin that was $16,000 just last week. It's $11,200 now.
Yeah, am I the only one who just looks at this and says there's absolutely no value except by, no backing whatsoever?
I think everybody over 40.
It's just by agreement is the word I was thinking of. Something that has value by agreement. I cannot help look at these and think about not Ponzi, but definitely pyramid.
Yeah, you're going to run out of chairs because everyone's going to sit back one day and say, you know something? I don't even know what the hell this is that I just bought. I want to get rid of it. And when they all run for the door, the door's not going to be big enough.
There is no door. It's virtual. God.
I knew there was an issue, fellas, when I asked this young man, who's a nice enough guy. I said, but tell me what I could buy. Tell me what I could buy with these. And I started getting all these esoteric, you could do this, maybe this, and the future is this. And I'm thinking, shit, I'm 60 years old. I don't know how long of a future. Please don't tell me in 25 years.
Yeah, right.
Well,
there are two things about that.
Come on.
Number one, there was a comedian a couple of weeks ago who was doing a stand-up thing about Bitcoin, and as far as he was concerned, it was something without any backing, without the ability to touch it, that you can't buy anything with.
Yeah, and don't please, if you're going to try to sell Bitcoin, don't tell a 60-year-old guy that in 20 years it's going to replace the dollar, because I'm really not interested in taking a chance on that 20-year stretch.
Right.
Please. Oh, goodness gracious, I'm glad I stayed away.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
Well, I remember a couple of weeks ago my making the comment or repeating the comment that was made on Twitter by Julian Assange, the head of WikiLeaks, tongue-in-cheek, thanking all of the regulators in Europe, the U.S., and the Far East from allowing him to open traditional banking. So he put his money in Bitcoin and was up 5,000%.
Well, I hope he sold it because he's not up there now.
Yeah.
Wow.
If somebody can't explain to you in one sentence what you can buy with whatever the heck it is you're buying, there's a problem.
That's the old if you can't write it down on a napkin,
Right.
it's probably a bad idea. Oh,
So
man.
really, the biggest issue dealing with anything financial this week clearly occurred in Mr. King's backyard, and that is the 5.5-point spread on the Minnesota game. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I mean, the difference on the extra point must have been tens of millions of dollars, since the 5.5-point spread went to the favorite, and clearly more people bet the favorite than the challenger.
Wait a
And
minute. You're talking about betting in sports?
It's
I'm
Yeah.
shocked.
Dr. Robert Kang.
Robert Kahn.
Oh,
Calling in from South Korea.
hey, doctor. How are you?
Hey, very good, very good. Thank you. How are you guys?
Well, let's see. In Korea, it's, a little after 11 at night? Is that right?
It is on the 12:30 something.
It's 12:30. It's 12:30. It's 12:30 on Wednesday morning, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Wow. Well, how are things going with you?
Well, actually, very, very good. We have a very good time here. We have a lot of new developments in Leo Motors and our subsidiary LGM. And I'm very happy to you talk about our business.
Yeah. Well, I'm a little shocked that you're talking to us little people now, seeing that you received the Grand Award in Korea. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
Now, what
Thank
was
you.
that? What was the award?
It was awarded to the CEO who make the breakthroughs in technology. So
Very cool.
I got the award by developing many new technologies so far. So I was chosen as one of the best CEO last year who made the most breakthrough technology in Korea.
Well, congratulations.
The Korea is the country and has a lot of the new technology, but among those technologies, and we are selected as the best in the technology development company and the CEO.
So, Samsung and who else? Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, of course, Samsung had the many new technology. We have big companies, but among small companies like us, they review the small companies and who are becoming the technological leaders in Korea, and I was also surprised they chose me.
Wow. Well,
It
Dr.
was a
Kang,
big surprise to me too.
aren't you? This may come out wrong. I don't mean it that way. Aren't you like the new Japan though? Like the way Japan was 30, 40 years ago, with innovation.
As you know, we have a lot of leadership in terms of cell phone, TV, home appliances, and
Yes.
mobile phones. We way over ahead of Japan.
Right. Oh yeah.
Samsung, LG, Yeah, they are the all leaders of the home appliances, electronics. They just the way over ahead of Japan.
Yeah, that's great. That is awesome. Well, tell us about you delivered a high-speed electric fishing boat to the Korean government. That sounds cool.
Electric fishing boat and the yachts sailing us. Well, the last time I was talking about electric fishing boat and yachts and our vision to do the business in the United States in the future.
Mm-hmm.
We hope we set up a business identity which can market and fabricate electric yachts in the United States. This year we have another very big technical breakthroughs, and we are making the prototype of a new electric propulsion using the Tesla turbine, right? And what we are developing is the electric propulsion system, which replacing screws of the ship or boats.
Right.
And the new propulsion system is the one unit is approximately 500 horsepower, and because it does not use the screw, it can be equipped to any places of the ship, big ship. Well, like the oil carrier, the very big carrying ships.
Right.
Like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
So we are moving toward to the bigger ship industry, shipbuilding industry actually this year. So in the shipbuilding industry, the propulsion system is a lot of the big ships using gas electric propulsion system. Like they use gas engine as a generator to make the electricity.
Right.
And
right.
the ship itself is propelled by electric motor. But instead of using the very big one motor, we are making the many separate electric propulsion system, right? By doing that, we make a great deal of energy efficiency and also maneuverability of the ship, right? So we are making the energy saving like the 40 or 50% of the conventional gas electric propulsion system, and that will change the whole scene of the shipbuilding propulsion electric shipbuilding propulsion this system. So we are very excited about the new developments. What I'm saying is another very new and very strange to you, but this is a new technology which we moved. We of course we are doing the small boats right now, but we are moving to the bigger carriers, oil carriers, like the container carriers, that industry. So it will be a great change this year of our business.
You started talking about oil carriers and stuff. I immediately thought of like cruise boats because I would think that would reduce the noise. Maybe not completely, but a good portion of the noise coming from the engine rooms, right?
And also pollutions.
Oh,
pollution,
yeah.
Up to 50%.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
And also the energy savings. And also our new propulsion system will make the more speed to the kind of the oil, the carrier, or cruisers. So if we start applying that to the ships, that will change the whole scene of transportation, ocean transportation, the industry. And we can make the 1.5 to the twice of the speed. We can add.
Wow, that's amazing. So that is truly amazing. Are you working with any shipping carriers now to try and maybe retool?
We are in the stage of making the prototype, and our the new propulsion system prototype will be tested with the small boats first. We will demonstrate like the 120 horsepower system first, and if we are successful, it will demonstrate the possibility we can apply to the bigger propulsion system like the 500 horsepower, right? Then we will try to the bigger carriers like 10,000 tons or the 20,000 tons carriers.
Wow, and I'm just thinking, kind of a sick military mind here. but
oh yeah. Also, we are going to apply it to the submarine, right? Because our propulsion system does not have a very, very small sound compared with the conventional screws, right?
Sure,
it's still operated by the electric motor, but it does not make any the screw sound, and very calm. So if it is applied to the submarine, it can have the better quality in terms of the sonar detection. So it can more easily get away from the sonar radar. So it will be very efficient to the submarine in the military.
Yeah, so it's basically a stealth sub at that point.
Right.
Wow. This is
a lot of
incredible.
applications. A lot of applications.
Yeah,
so
I mean, you're on to
we
something.
hope within a month we will come up with the new prototype for that Tesla turbine. Actually we used the Tesla turbine device, which was developed like 100 years ago from Nikola Tesla. But for 100 years, the people did not use the better, the power, the activity of the Tesla the turbine. But we found a way how to use it. So using that the basic technology, which is known to everybody, to the world, we just improve how to utilize the Tesla turbine in a better way and the more propulsion. So
wow.
We will demonstrate it within a month.
And now, where's that going to be?
Well, in Korea first.
Sure. Yeah. Naturally.
In our company, right? Okay. And also we will put it in our boats, like the 1 or 2 tons boats and 120 horsepower system in the small scale, and we will demonstrate how we can make the bigger scale, how to apply it to the bigger ships like that.
Very Red October sounding, huh, Greg?
Yeah, well, Dr. Kang, you could totally revolutionize the shipping industry with this.
We try to. So we are working with the very famous professors in Korea, and they also, told us about the great possibility we can change the whole scene of a ship propulsion system. Right?
Yeah, wow.
So I will send you a video when we do the test.
Yeah.
And show you how we can do it.
Yeah, we'll put that up on our website. Well, if you put it on YouTube, everybody in the world can see it.
Oh yeah.
Charles and Mike, what What is the stock structure of Leo Motors right now?
Oh, it's like 10 to 12 cents. Very reasonably priced. Very,
Bargain sale.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Wow. Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. And Mike, the stock symbol for Leo?
LEOM.
LEOM. Yeah.
Well, that's easy enough. Leo Motors, LEOM. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Wow, that's absolutely amazing. So this test is going to be when now, Dr. Kang?
It's gonna be like the end of the February. We can demonstrate our new device, new invention.
That's great. Wow.
We are on the process of making the prototype. So, we are using the 3D printers and also the die casting. So we are now under the making it.
And
Right.
now this new system of yours, explain. We don't have much time left, but like the cartridge battery systems, what's that?
Oh, well, the cartridge battery system is about the energy storage system, energy itself. Our new system is about the propulsion, like the screws of the ship or propellers of the drone. It can also apply to the soundless drone. Well, actually, in the small sound, we can reduce the big sound of the drone significantly. Also, safety of the drone. Right? So it can be applied in many ways. It can also be applied to like a hair dryer. Well, hair dryer has a lot of the noise, and we can also reduce the noise of hair dryer. And the fans, like the Dyson, the fan, well, it is way new, the invention.
Wow.
There's one other thing, Greg, that I want to mention here.
Go ahead, Charles.
The market value of the stock at a dime. I don't want anybody to think that this is small. The company has about $16 million in market cap, but the other side of that coin is only $16 million in market cap, and you're talking about things that, if they move forward, would provide really dramatic numbers coming in to a company whose value is as low as $16 million. So the opportunity, I know, we discussed this last week with Mag 1. It's the same thing here. Any sizable contract can literally double the value of the company.
Yes.
Wow.
And also, we are, we are going to demonstrate our new electric the propulsion system, the electric boats in China, in Beijing, and to the government officials this month. And we already sent all our products to there, and they are preparing it to demonstrate in front of the Chinese government, the officers, and also buyers. And as soon as we do it, we can have a
That brings up a really interesting question, Doctor. South Korea is, an ally of the U.S. Do you get any pushback from U.S. regulators for doing this type of high-tech business in China?
Not yet. Hopefully, we can get it.
Well, and Doctor,
get their attention.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
Yeah, Dr. Kang, the question I would have is: are you protecting your patents when you deal with the Chinese?
Well, as you know, protecting our intellectual property in China is very hard. But we have so our strategy is having a good partner there, like a government company. They will protect our property there.
Okay, I'd hate to see them steal all
whenever
these
now we
ideas,
do the business in China, we are also always considering the partnership with the local government company.
Okay. All right. Well, as long as you're protected there and your ideas are safe, yeah, that sounds absolutely amazing. Well, Dr. Kang, here you are informative as always. And we've been talking to you for well over 10 years, and you've got so many amazing ideas coming out of Korea. It's hard to keep up with you sometimes, but this sounds like you are on to something that could change the entire shipping industry all around the world.
Yeah, we try to.
That sounds
so
great.
We are always challenging to new idea, and then when it is in the capitalized, our the stock price will be significantly different.
Yep.
Hope that.
Well, I know
Right?
I know you were founded back in 2007, and it was a very short
Right.
time later when Mike King got you on the air here. So, wow, good luck to you, and keep it going. And
Thank you very much.
And don't be a stranger. We want to know about that test coming up in a few weeks. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. We will send our new development information as soon as we do it.
That sounds great. Well, hey, enjoy the Olympics in your country too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the next month.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
hey, well,
So with the news of North Korea not participating in Olympics, and our Olympic became safer Olympic now.
well, boy,
So
I
you
hope
can
so.
come and see. North Korea is also participating.
That sounds great. Well, Dr. Kang, thank you so much for being with us. Leo Motors, LEOM is the stock symbol, and it's around 10 cents. What a steal. Wow. They're ideas. These are idea people, and they've been idea people for a long, long time. So look them up on the web. Mike King in Las Vegas. Charles Moskowitz in Boston. Those are the Money Info guys, and you've heard this show ever since 2007 on WPSL. Glad to have you on board. WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast, 25 years and counting.